Hey, what's going on everybody? This is Micah just checking in with another video log on my progression in my off season for bodybuilding. I'm going to give you some updates on my macros, where I'm at with that, my progression with my exercise routine, and just some updates for the future. So currently, I switched up my macros a few weeks ago. I know I was kind of complaining about the fact that I was eating all the time, and I just felt like I wasn't making progress on the scale. I wasn't making progress in the gym, and it was just kind of frustrating. At this point, I'm just like stuffing my face, throughout every few hours, and I was just feeling full all the time. And so, last year what I did was I actually dropped my calories, every other month, and I actually bumped it up, on the alternating months, and that seemed to really help give my body a break. With that, and I was still able to make some pretty good gains just by doing that. So I decided to take the same route. I actually dropped my intake. Went down to 425 gram carb, 65 gram fat. Oh, actually 55 gram fat, and actually went down to. I actually stayed around 205 gram protein, and so I did that for a few weeks, and I didn't change, anything else. And so I was pretty happy about that. My body was pretty accustomed with having lesser calories. It didn't affect my training. It didn't affect the way that I, went throughout my day. And towards the end of it, after a couple weeks, I was actually missing those extra calories. And so I decided, let's go ahead and bump on my calories. And so I changed my macros. It's actually it's 550 gram carb, 75 gram fat, and 205 gram protein. And so, that's been really helpful. I actually have been able to assimilate pretty well with the new calories. And I'm not gonna lie, like on the weekends, this is when it becomes a little more challenging with getting all those calories in. That's roughly around 3,700 calories that I'm intaking, and I am full, in that window on the weekends, just because I have a shorter window of when I can eat. I tend to wake up a little bit later on the weekends, so it doesn't leave me much opportunity to eat all my food the way that I like to, just spread it out every few hours. And so what I typically do on the weekends, just to save, I can actually have a huge calorie meal. I take like a protein shake. I throw in some blueberries, some banana, Greek yogurt. I just pound those, and that tends to help out with meeting my macros for the day. And plus, it's good to get my fruit in, and something that's just going to be calorie dense for myself. And so I typically do get 40 to 45 grams of fiber in my typical day too, and that's another important aspect. I know I always stress about it, but fruits and vegetables is something that you still need in your diet. And obviously when you're contest prepping, fruits might be a little bit more of a variable, but I still keep my vegetables in my diet, despite the way that I still do if it fits your macros or flexible dieting. I still make sure I get my healthy food in there. And so looking at my my current macros, I feel really good about it. This is the highest I've ever been when I'm on an off season, and I'm only at 169 pounds, which is about 14 pounds above stage weight, but I'm in 12 weeks or so into my off season, which is a pretty good progression. I'm actually not feeling like I'm putting a lot of fluff gains in there, which is really nice to feel. I am getting somewhat stronger in the gym, but that's really not the point. I don't really care about how strong I am in the gym. I just feel like if I am making progression in my strength gains and my power gains, I know I'm putting on lean muscle mass. Lean muscle mass promotes those two components, strength and power. It's kind of a byproduct. And so I am confident that the way that I'm training has really been helpful as well in the progress that I've had up to this point. So going into my training, what that really looks like, I'm still doing 2 days a week, Monday and Tuesday, German volume training, 10 by 10 compound movements, upper body on Monday, lower body on Tuesday. I might do some auxiliary work after those 2 compound lifts per day, but I typically am exhausted after doing 10 by 10 with 2 to 3 exercises, so per day. And then Wednesday through Saturday I do hypertrophy work. I pretty much do like a typical training, like a bodybuilding training split. So on Wednesday I actually do chest and tris. On Thursdays I do back and bis. Fridays I do legs. Saturdays I do shoulders, like traps and delts, and arms, and a little bit of core, and some abdominal work. So that's been working out really well. I tend to, really, gauge where my progression is each day, each week, and I've been able to see some pretty good, gains as far as strength is concerned and power, especially in my German volume training. And like I said, it's not necessarily the main point of why I go to the gym is to get stronger and gain power, but it's, like I said, it's kind of a testament that what I'm doing is working. I'm putting on some size, and with minimum fat gain, which is the plan. And like I said, this is the highest calories I've ever been, where it's just a gradual progression with weight. And on previous videos I've stated that the best scenario is to be at the highest amount of calories when you start a contest prep or any type of body fat loss protocol, because the idea is you're going to hit sticking points, you're going to hit plateaus, so you want to make sure that you have enough calories to pull from when you hit those challenges. And cardio is not the know-all say-all. Don't get me wrong, that's going to be in my contest prepping time, but if I can have that fine balance between calories and cardio, I'll be so much more happier. So I am hoping that I can push the limits with my calorie intake, and I'm hoping I can push it to at least 4,000 calories by the end of my off season, which probably in December. And so that's my progression so far. Everything is looking where it needs to be. I'm glad I switched up my macros. I'm glad I switched up my training. It's been really helpful. One thing, as far as my future plans, I'm still working with Iron Angels, Iron Beast, and really trying to figure out what the coaching aspect is. I really am looking forward to coaching people, people that have the same passion, the same drive, and looking forward to helping their progression and kind of watching that journey with each individual. And so we're figuring out pricing, as far as coaching, really what that looks like for contest preps, nutrition and meal planning and, macro breakdowns. The whole spiel, really what encompasses, all those components to be successful. And, I am super excited to get that on the road and start, helping people, figure out really what their ultimate goal is. Is it to step on stage, or is it just overall like health? It really is personable for anybody. But so I'm really looking forward to starting that process, and I've already dived a little deep, with helping some individuals here and there. But I'm really looking forward to just focusing on the whole picture, nutrition, training, just day to day, week to week, kind of watching their progress, changing things up when it needs to be, and just kind of seeing that whole journey of somebody. And so I'm super excited about that. But that's just some updates on where I'm at with my current training. But always, please go ahead and leave some comments, some suggestions, questions in the comments below. I'll definitely address them in future videos. I can definitely respond to them as they come in. But yeah, if there's anything that I can do, anything that I can answer, just go ahead and mark a comment down there, and I will address it. I did make my nutrition series, with macros and general recommendations on my last nutrition video series. I'm actually going to do a follow-up as far as what that looks like. You know, once you figured out your calories, once you figured out your macros, and give you some examples of how I actually do it day to day, and how I plan for like events, how I plan for if I want something, you know, if I'm craving something, how do I fit it in with everything else I gotta eat? You know, and so how do I go about planning out my day? And I think that might give you guys a better picture of like not just knowing your recommendations or where you should start, but really applied, you know, how to apply it into your day-to-day routine. And so I'll definitely do that. I'm actually going on some vacation. I'm actually gonna, well, it's a staycation, gonna be headed to Seattle, and this is going to be a true test about if it fits your macros or being flexible with the way that I'm eating. I'm not taking very much. I'm not going to be bringing the Tupperwares of food and, you know, doing all this planning around it. I'm basically going to take, you know, a few fiber bars, like protein, oh yeah, victory bars, you know, and possibly just some protein powder, just because I find that when I go out and eat, I can't get enough protein. Like, even when I track it, it's the hardest thing. So I'm just doing that as a backup. But I'm taking the bare essentials on this staycation in Seattle, and I'm going to try and do a video, because this is going to be like epic, because it's a true test if I can, you know, get what I need while I'm out and about with really minimum you know, Tupperware usage. But anyway, that's just a quick update. Hope you guys enjoyed it. But like I said, if there's any questions, comments, suggestions, please put them on the comments box, and I will definitely address them on my next follow-up vlogs. So thanks for checking in, and have a good one. Bye-bye.